Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. If you're joining us live, if you catch the replay, please say hi either way. I am in my craft room this afternoon creating with one of the new bundles from the new catalogue. If you have your catalogue, why not take a photo of yourself with your cover and post it on this thread. I'd love to see everyone with their new catalogues. So just hold it up and take a selfie and post it below, and I might send some happy mail out to some people that I pick at random who post a picture. So there you go. There's a little challenge for you for today. If you're just joining us, hi Deb, how you going? Say hello, say where you're watching from, and yeah, let us know if you've done something creative today. We'd love to know if you have had a chance to get into your craft room as well. I have got my cup of tea here, and I've got my heater on because it's very cold. I feel like I'm acclimatizing though, because we're about to head to Norway and UK, Germany and Israel as well. Hi Wendy, how you going? So I feel like I'm gotta have all kinds of weather in mind as I'm packing. I need winter clothes, I need summer clothes, and I need in between, lots of layers, and all weather kind of gear as well. So I feel like I need to be prepared for anything because we're going to so many different places this time. Just a reminder though that my online store will be open. I'll also be answering messages when I'm in range of Wi-Fi. So I'm actually not turning off my phone, and I'm not turning off my messaging. So if you have any questions, or if you want to place an order, probably the quickest and easiest way to do that would be to get online through my online store, and you can place it that way. There are a couple of little bonuses that I've got going for my newsletter customers. So if you've received my newsletter this month, you will know about my special little offers that I've got going for you there as well. So if you haven't placed an order from the new catalogue yet, now is a great time. Also a reminder that my colour club is available, so I've got a couple of spots left for that if you'd like to go in that. All the details are on my blog as well as on here, so scroll back a little bit and you'll find it, and you'll also find it on www.vanessawebb.net, which is my blog address. So brand new catalogue, very exciting. The bundle that I'm playing with today, excuse me, is, it's called Fresh as a Daisy. Yep. So let me pop the camera around and I'll show you inside. If you watched my launch, my online launch, you would have seen this suite in action already. And the Fresh as a Daisy suite, I think I explained to everybody that it was probably my first suite that I added to my order, my pre-order. And it is just gorgeous. The papers are beautiful. You can see them all pictured up there. You've got a gorgeous set of adhesive back solid gems which coordinate with all the papers. There's all the colours. So don't forget to have a little look at the colour swatch underneath the papers of a suite, because that will tell you what cardstock and ink pads and other accessories are also going to coordinate with that those papers. I've been playing lots and lots with this, and I love all the samples in the catalogue. They've really inspired me as I've been creating my own. I am going to show you a couple of tips and tricks though to use with the dies, as well as your stylish shapes dies, which coordinate with pretty much any suite. If you've got them, you'll know why, because the shapes are just universal. So we have a card here. I'm going to run this piece of basic white cardstock through with one of the dies. This is the largest die from the suite, from the set of dies, the Cheerful Daisies dies, and it cuts out 3 daisies at a time, and it also cuts out some leaves. So you can use it as is, but you can also use it, you can cut the daisies up and use them individually and pair them up as, you know, as needed. You can just use the leaves if you need just a couple of leaves on a project. So it's a really versatile die. You don't have to use it as is. It's got little gaps in between the images. I'm going to use it as is for the purposes of the card that I'm making for you today. And I want to show you two different cards. One of them is just going to be done with the Cheerful Daisies die, this large die, just in the white. And the other one, I'm going to alter the colour a little bit. I'm going to use my sponge daubers so that I have some added colour on the thing, on the designer series paper. I'm sorry, on the cardstock. That's what I'm trying to say. So I've got my word window there, and I've got my daisies here, and I'm going to pop this over the top here, like that, and just run it through. Hi Katrina, how you going? Good to see you. Yeah, if you're there, say hello. And let me know maybe if you've got a favourite sweet that you have seen people playing with that you have now put on your wish list because you love it so much from the new catalogue. Let me know what your favourite sweet might be. I would love to know that too. Or favourite bundle. So I'm using the Cheerful Daisies Bundle, which comes from the Fresh as a Daisy suite. It's a bundle of dies and stamps together, meant to be used together. So I'm just going to get out all the little bits. I'm going to use my my die brush. Let me just grab that. And I'm going to run over this first, just to loosen most of it. And then any bits that are still caught, I will actually use my paper piercer. So once you get one bit off, it's kind of fairly easy to just peel the whole thing. And then see you've just got a few little extra bits to punch out because you want to have all that lovely detail. So I am using, as I said, the basic white cardstock, and you'll find that, I mean, you can use any cardstock. You could even use coloured cardstock, colour on colour. If you're going to be using the sponge daubers on this cardstock, I would recommend, if you want a stronger colour to come through from the ink, just to go with your white or your very vanilla. But yeah, tone on tone looks nice as well. So you could try this with copper clay cardstock and copper clay ink. I'm using copper clay and the Pretty Peacock, the returning Pretty Peacock. So it is a gorgeous combination. And you'll notice too that the papers also have that that combination in them. So you'll take your cue from the papers, I think, whichever suite you're playing with. Just look at that colour swatch that I showed you at the bottom, and you'll be able to tell what colours are going to go with the multiple projects that you might want to create. Right, so here's a plain one, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a card that we made at our last Stamp Club, which was only on Thursday, and we actually created this really cute card, but I encouraged the Stamp Club members to colour their white Fresh as a Daisy die cut, first of all, just with some of the wild wheat. So you can see how I'm just using my dauber like this, just going around the edge of the daisies like that, just to kind of take away the whiteness and add a little bit of colour and texture. It also really defines the shape of the daisy. You'll find that the petals and even the centres stand out a little bit more. I'm going to just pop some wild wheat right in the centre as well, just using my dauber as a sort of circular shape. And you can use the corner of the dauber if you don't want to get a large circle. If you want an oval, just tip your dauber on the side and it goes more oval shape. So they're looking a little bit more realistic now. You can see how when the colour gets on there. I'm also going to come in with some Pretty Peacock, and this is the green that is featured in the Designer Series paper. Just be careful you don't get it on the petals of the flowers. And what I'm going to do is just touch a tiny bit in the center as well. So they're sort of like two-tone daisies like that. And then you've got both the wild wheat and the Pretty Peacock showing up there. Now, as I said, you could stick that onto a card as is, or you could cut it up and rearrange those flowers and leaves as desired. I have chosen just to stick them straight on. So let me bring in the card and you'll see how this what I've just made has featured on the card. Instead of creating a little word window for our greeting, I've actually stamped the greeting in the background, you will see. And it is, it is actually what the greeting will stand out in the background rather than putting it sort of right in front of the flowers. So it's a little bit more subtle. I've also used the wild wheat textured ribbon, and I have chosen to actually cut it. So what I mentioned to my stamp club was that you'll get a lot more bang for your buck if you first of all just cut your ribbon to size as you would need for a bow, and then you just cut the edge along like this. You can cut it into thirds, and in fact for my incentive trip swaps, this is how I created with my ribbon. I didn't want a really thick ribbon on the cards. I'm going to do a YouTube video, so if you want to see what I made for my incentive trip swaps, I will be posting that video in a couple of weeks or week or so. I won't spoil the surprise for any of the attendees who might get my swap. So there you go, there's the edge, and that ties into a really, really effective bow. And of course, if it's a bit long, you can just trim it like that. So there you go. That's how you get a nice thin ribbon. It's still nice and textured, still going to coordinate, and you would just stick that on with a glue dot. So that is just stuck on there. Another thing to note is I've used both the daubers around the edge. So what I did was I actually used the daubers. Let me just grab this one to show you. I used the wild wheat first, so the softer colour first, and then, just going around the corner, then I grabbed my Pretty Peacock and I just ran around like that, really simple. So you've got the two-tone effect around the edge of your cardstock, and that accentuates the shape of that as well. So yeah, they had a lot of fun making this card. So you might notice that there is a circle behind. There's two circles. There's a vellum piece, which is one of the smaller circles from the Stylish Shapes. There is also a larger circle, which comes from this Designer Series paper on the other side. So I've cut that out. But I thought to myself, I can actually use these offcuts as well. You don't want to throw out a square like that just because most of the paper has been used with the circle. You've still got some lovely stitching there, and you could use that as a feature on a card. So I have actually made another card. I have just simply created another die cut. I'm going to leave that white. It's going to stand out against the cardstock of the card that I'm making. So I'm going to leave that there. I've got a word window for my greeting. I've also got the side of the other cardstock. So this is the Pretty Peacock side, and that's the side that has the copper clay design on it. And simply, with all your offcuts like this, you're just going to pop some glue on the underside, just really quickly. So just get some glue on the underside there. You don't need a lot because it's quite a small bit of paper. It really isn't going to have too much trouble sticking down. And you just want to pop that onto some copper clay cardstock. I've cut this from an A4 sheet, so you'll actually get 3 cards of this size out of one A4 sheet. Very economical card size. And then again, you're going to pop, we can see I've used a scrap here. I don't like wasting my cardstock. If it's still good to go on one side, I definitely use the other side. I just had a little bit too much from my bookmarks that I made. All right, so this is going to just be angled up across the card like that. So you can see how that stands out quite nicely against the copper clay, and definitely coordinates with the white flowers in the papers. Loving that. I've also got this card here, which this is our word window, as I mentioned, and I'm just going to grab the copper clay, and one more time I'm going to grab a greeting. This greeting comes from, I'm trying to remember trying to remember which stamp set this comes from. It's a thank you stamp. It's not from the Daisies, the Fresh as a Daisy set, but it is from another set, and it's a really good size for this word window. So just a light tap and stamp it down on the word window. There we go. And I'm just going to grab my pretty peacock and run it round like that, and that's going to coordinate, bring out the pretty peacock in the paper as well, definitely. And I might even just stick it down the bottom on the right hand side there, and I think that is the perfect spot for it. Yeah, so this word window is in fact part of the Fresh as a Daisy, or the Cheerful Daisies Bundle, and I've used it many times already. It's a really nice, it's got some stitching around the outside, and it seems to be perfect for lots and lots of different words. So there you go. I'm also going to stick one of these bows that I created just as an additional embellishment, and I've got some solid faceted dots here which come from that suite. I'm just going to pop that one up there. Solid faceted dots, and they are also in the copper clay. I might just pop one there, and I'll grab a smaller one. Pop that there, and then a medium one up the top. I'll keep them on the daisies. So you've got a little bit of a sparkle now happening on this card. So this really is a card that is made from one roll through, one or two rolls, sorry, through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We've got one inked up daisy, and then one plain basic white daisy. This one has the word window. This one's just got the greeting in the background. This one's got circles, and out of one of the circles, as I showed you, we have created a little frame which can go. So I've got lots of these left over, and I'm going to make some more cards. If you received, if you actually put an order in last month, you will be receiving one of these cards in the mail. So as my thank you, and it comes with a little gift. Just to say thank you for placing your order last month. You'll get your gift from me the month after you place your order. And same with this month. It happens every single month. So there are my two cards that I wanted to show you. Just a few little tips and tricks with the Cheerful Daisies Bundle. Let me pop you around. Don't forget that my store is always open, and I will be posting both. I will be posting on my Instagram, which will go to my Facebook page here, about our trip. So you want to make sure that you're following me on here so you don't miss out. I'll be posting a few little sneak peeks over the next couple of days as well before I go. I might open my incentive trip pillow gifts box, which they sent to us before the trip, so we didn't have to carry everything back in our luggage, which was very nice. So I will open that for you, and I might do a couple of more videos, and look out for the YouTube video that I will be posting about how I created my incentive trip gifts as well. I will be back with more very soon. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great weekend. Bye.